to do is I'm going to go ahead and get us started with our announcements. And first off, we are doing our very first ever give back event. And so this is a way to kind of mobilize our community and some of the stuff that we already do, but make it fun in a way to raise money for some local nonprofits. And so we've had this like super amazing committee that's led by Nikki Miller, and she has been leading this committee of our own members to put together this give back event. And what it's going to be, it's virtual. So you're going to do a live actual thing with your body, but we're going to do it all over the country. And it's going to raise money for a couple of local food banks. So we have 3 in different parts of the country that we're going to send the money to, because food banks certainly need some support these days with a lot of people struggling. And so it's going to be really fun. And so you'll basically register online, you'll pay the $40 registration, you get a shirt, and then you get to pick what you're going to do. So there's 3 events and you can do all of them or one of them. And you can modify if you need to. And so you'll do your event with your friends, with your people, whatever. They're really fun. I think one of them's like a 5K. One of them's like setting up an obstacle course for your family. Like, it's all doable things. But you can just pick which one you want to do. And it's our first ever, charity event. And I think we're going to do these more and more, especially as Fitme grows, because we have such an amazing community. We might as well do things together that help the people in our communities that need extra help. So that's exciting. The registration is May 24th. So just around the corner is when the registration will go live, but the event itself is June 5th through the 12th. So you basically have the whole week to do it. So if you pick the 5K, you can just pick whatever you want to do it. You can walk, run, bike, rollerblade, whatever you want. So May 24th is registration. And then the event, the give back event, is June 5th and 12th. Second announcement is a save the date. We have our first ever Fitme, like kind of transformational weekends is what I will call them. It's basically a coached weekend. And we're doing one on the East Coast. We're doing one on the West Coast. These are going to be like limited spots because we are putting you up for the weekend. It includes, we are all going to stay together. It's going to be really cool. And so like food, lodging, all of it, it's going to be this incredible weekend for you to be coached and connect with people and just walk away, on, I don't know what we would call it, like on steroids. Everything that you're doing would just be like accelerated and launched forward. So I just want to give you these dates so you can save the date if you're like, yes, I have to be there, which everybody has to be there. But like I said, spots are limited because we're putting you up and we're doing food and all of that. So the East Coast event is September 17th and 18th. It's really the Friday night through Sunday, but it's the nights of the 17th and 18th. And then it will go through Sunday midday on the 19th. And that's going to be in Kent Island, Maryland. So just like ballpark it. That's even Eastern Shore. And then the West Coast event is going to be in Washington State at a really cool lodge in the Snoqualmie Pass. And it is October the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So write those dates down so that you have them and like block them in your calendar. Because I know calendars are filling up because everybody is like rescheduling events that were canceled last year. So lock this in so that you can be in person with your Fitme family for those weekends. So again, East Coast, September 17th, 18th, and 19th, and West Coast is October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And we'll have like registration, sign up details for that soon. So I think that's all my announcements. I even put them on Post-its. So I have the dates. I can tell you exactly what they are, not just be like, it's in the fall. See you there. Mysterious time, save the date. So we are talking snacks tonight. That is our topic of the week, snacks. Now, this is one of the number one questions we get as coaches when people join Fitme. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand what a plate is, but like, what about snacks? Like, can I have this? Is this a good snack? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this okay? anywhere of the range from like a Snickers bar all the way to like more like a health food snack. Like, hey, can I have these like cauliflower, dried cauliflower things? Is this a good snack? And it's always an interesting conversation because most Fitme coaches will come back and ask you a question to that question. They'll say, well, tell me what else you're eating with it, or what else did you have for lunch this day? Why are you needing a snack? When are you needing a snack? And asking questions. And I wanted to kind of give you some background on why we do that, instead of saying, okay, well, just like pick anything you want and have these be your snacks. So what I want you to think about is that we have been indoctrinated for decades into a culture where snacks are like either very commercial. So, like the kinds of things you see in vending machines. So you've got like processed food snacks. You're hungry, you're tired. I mean, literally the Snickers bars commercials are like, you're like a terrible person. And then now you have a Snickers and you needed a snack and now you're all better. And so like we've learned over decades what snacks are. And most of the time, the things that we've learned, they tend to be processed. Why? Because there's an entire industry around selling you snacks. And so again, we're not saying whether they're bad or good. I'm just pointing out that snacks are available everywhere. Gas stations, vending machines, airplanes, places where there wouldn't be a meal, there may be like a snack option. And rarely is it a whole food choice, just again, by default. So if we think about our snacks as, again, like something that we've been accustomed to doing for the majority of our life, having some kind of snack, and we think about, okay, well, why do we snack? A lot of times it can be because we're bored, we're tired, we're stressed, we skipped a meal, we need something, right? Like I just need something. Go in the kitchen, I need something. So there's emotional reasons that we might snack, as well as just like logistics reasons. Maybe you're hungry. So you're like, I need to eat something. What do I eat? It's not one of my designated meal times, so I need a snack. So there's going to be all these different reasons why we could snack. Emotional, actual hunger, culture. We're like walking by and we see something and it's like, here you go. This is snack food choices. All of these reasons to snack, which brings us to Fitme is telling us like one of our basics is like avoiding processed junk. Why avoid processed junk? There's 45 other nutrition programs and plans out there that you can make that fit in. Actually, like you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits, your macros or your points or whatever. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just pointing out the difference. We have one of these kind of like basic guidelines is avoiding processed junk. Why do we do that? Well, many people use snacks as a crutch for one, eating real food that would actually fill you up and nourish your body. And two, mindlessly consume snacks in a way that they don't with meals. Now, we can mindlessly consume meals too, but snacks in particular, like you come home from work, you're stressed, you start snacking. You're not even thinking about it. You're just snacking. You're doing whatever, you're putting things away, you're handling kids, dogs, cooking dinner, and you're snacking. You're not even thinking about it. We do that differently. So when people come to Fitme with a goal of weight loss, one of the first strategies that can be helpful is eliminating mindless snacking, and especially doing it with like processed junk, where it was designed by billion-dollar companies to have no breaks, right? Lay's potato chips, like you can't just eat one. Like they designed it so you would eat more and more and more and more and more. So we go with, well, we don't want to have processed junk as like a daily choice, because once we have that boundary in place, well, now what? We have to choose something else. So what do we choose as a snack? Either you don't snack, which is possible, right? Like maybe you're not even hungry and you're just like, I don't have anything here that I'm going to eat, so I'm just going to skip this snack. And it ends up being a great way to kind of like cut out some of the extra that's in your day, the extra calorie snacking. Or two, we're in the position we are where we're saying, well, what is a solid choice of a snack. What should I have if I'm hungry? What should I have if I need something and I want something that's in between meals? So I really like to default to applying the Fitme plate strategy, but in a smaller portion. And a lot of times in snacks, you can think of it as an inspired, because you may be getting a little bit one step further away than like the true, hey, this is like a non-processed carb source from the ground. Maybe you're like one step removed from that because you're like, okay, I'm going to take a tortilla. There's my carb. Now what? Okay, well, we start it with a protein. So maybe you take turkey, you've got some deli turkey meat. We've got that protein, check. Then we go with veggies. What can I put with it? What's veggies that I could eat as a snack? Well, maybe you've got some like diced bell pepper or some cucumbers or something. You could throw those in there. Now you've got that going. And then you're like, okay, well, now I've got my quality carb. I've got my veggies because I've got my tortilla and I've got, my turkey, which is my protein. And now what could I have as a healthy fat? Well, maybe you could put some mayo on there, like a serving of mayo. Maybe you could have some guacamole. Maybe you could have something like a small portion of nuts on the side. So now what you've done is by using that same simple formula, you've built yourself a very satisfying, complete snack. So what happens is your body actually knows what to do with a snack like that. If we eat carbs by themselves, I call this rule like my no naked carb rule. So if carbs like being naked, like all by themselves without their clothes on. So like an apple, which is like a total solid choice as a snack, right? But it's a naked carb. It's all by itself. So you get that like spike of sugar and then crash, because that's the way our bodies are set up. So if you take an apple, which is a carb, and you pair it with a hard-boiled egg, which is a protein and a fat, and you eat some cucumbers, now your body has more stable blood sugar. You stay more likely to burn body fat when you have stable blood sugar. Plus your energy level is good and you are satisfied. You've actually put something into your body that can hold you over till your meal. And so just taking this really simple, like our plate challenge rule and like applying it to, okay, I got to put together a snack. What am I going to have? And again, it can be inspired. So if you're at a gas station, you're like, oh, what am I going to eat as a snack? Maybe you get beef jerky. There you go. There's your protein. Check. Perfect. No, who cares? It's pretty solid. Now what? Okay, like let me see if they've got some veggies in this like chilled section, and you go grab some carrots and celery and it comes with nut butter. Boom, fat. You done. You did it. So it's like you can do it. It just takes a little bit of thinking and sometimes placing these things together. And at least for me, and again, this may just be me, but if I snack on traditional snack food, and at my house, like the kind of nonsense that we have that's like snack food is definitely like pirate booty. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. It's kind of like cheddar, like magical puffs of nature. They're delicious. I could eat a gallon of those and feel like I ate nothing. It doesn't satisfy me at all. I mean, they're delicious for a second. And like, I can like bite the cheese off my fingers after I've eaten them, but like, I don't feel full or satisfied. And then I'm usually annoyed with myself because I'm like, why did I eat that? And for those of you who have littles, a lot of times our snacks are like leftover things that the kids didn't eat. And again, nobody feels really good about that. It feels like, oh, I'm not really satisfied, in this meal. And I just ate those leftover chicken nuggets and like 3 bites of macaroni and cheese. And our bodies know that. And so we pay for it later with cravings. Your body, if you're like, man, I am a person who has a sweet tooth, I bet you just might be snacking too much, because once you start to eat more balanced meals, the sweet tooth levels off. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. But when we like, say if we skip breakfast and then we kind of have like a halvesy snack in the middle of the morning, and then like we eat kind of late lunch, more caffeine, we get home, we're hungry, we're a little snacky before dinner, we kind of have a reasonable dinner, and then it's 8:30 and we're like, oh my God, I have all the cravings. Like I need something, and we want the sugar, we want the wine, we want the chocolate, all of that. It's that accumulation of the entire day that brought us there. So paying attention to snacks can be one of the most helpful things you can do to eliminate cravings. So I hope this was helpful. I really wanted to kind of break it down to talk about why, one, we use the no processed junk as sort of one of our guidelines. It helps us. It's a boundary. It's not a moral thing. It's a boundary. It helps us have clarity and simplicity around how we structure our regular days. And I've always told you, if you have a favorite snack treat that is processed as it comes and covered in sugar and dipped in butter, and that is your jam, and you want to have it on like a special day, then do it. It is totally okay. That is different though than what we want to put in our body every day. And so we just kind of create a boundary where we don't have to have these like debates with ourselves all the time. So then we get to this thing, right? Well, there's like a bazillion healthy choices in the grocery store, right? So like, this is where it's going to give you some clarity. When you're walking through the health food aisle and there's healthy pretzels, healthy blah, 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 healthy Triscuits, healthy crackers, healthy whatever, you can just ask yourself like, okay, are those bad or good? Doesn't matter. Is that going to help me be successful? Because am I going to be building a balanced snack with this? Or am I going to mindlessly eat these? And my brain thinks, oh, these are still Cheez-Its. Like they may be labeled gluten-free, keto, vegan, you know, perfect from the ground, but these are still Cheez-Its at the end of the day. And I'm going to eat 50 of them and not know the difference. So for me, and again, this is just what's worked well for me, so I'm sharing it with you. My boundary is I don't tend to buy those kind of things because I'm not counting 7 of them, which is like the serving size, and then being like, oh, I'm satisfied from my 7, you know, Cheez-Its. I just find that it's easier to keep that boundary in place and not have it be one of my routines for snacks. So we're going to do something before I open this up for back and forth conversations, because I'd love to talk more about snacks. This is a big topic. So we're going to do something kind of fun this week, and this is completely optional. So you do not have to do this, but if this is fun, I am creating a Marco Polo group just for the next 7 days. So this group will just be about snacks. It is going to be accountability around kind of skipping some of those like convenience, not so great snacks that we're not that excited about that we keep going to. So it'll be accountability. And it's also going to be brainstorming and examples of like, here's what I put together as a snack. What do you guys think? Like, show me your snacks. So it is a snack attack group, 7 days only. So this Marco Polo group will just exist for us for 7 days, and then it's going to go away next Sunday. But it'll be really cool too, because all of you guys are in different groups, and this is going to be a chance for you to meet some other people who are in other Marco Polo groups, and that'll be kind of fun. But again, if you're like, I'm to the max as it is, you do not have to join. This is just for fun and optional. So short-term 7-day Marco Polo group. And I'm going to put the link actually in the chat, but we'll actually send it out on text tomorrow. So make sure you get, if you don't get text alerts, we'll send it out via text, and you just have to click on it and you'll be poof added to the group. It'll be super easy. So with that, let's open up some discussions around snacks. I know you guys will remember that no naked carb thing. It's easy to remember.
I found that when I started eating better meals, that I did stop snacking a lot. So I find that for me, in the last year, as I've eaten better, I don't snack nearly as often. Sometimes toward the late afternoon, I get kind of snacky, but I try to make it a protein snack, which works for me. Maybe not for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. I think you're 100% right. If you eat a really satisfying, like solid meal, you're just going to be less snacky.
When I started making my lunches bigger, then that was a good thing for me to learn, that I much less need for snack in the afternoon, but sometimes toward the end of the day, if I know dinner isn't going to be for 2 or 3 more hours, and I've been really active, then I do a little protein snack.
Mm-hmm. Protein's a good one to default to. If you're like, Chrissy, I can't make a balanced thing, I get to pick one, I'd be like protein. Because think about the other way. If I was like fat, I'd be like, okay, well, you're going to eat an entire quarter cup of peanut butter then, you know?
Yeah. I loved Maureen's trick about the tuna packs. Those are great. I keep them at my office now, and that's just been fantastic.
I love those.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fast too. I think that's the other thing about snacks is the convenience industry around snacks is that way. So it can be convenient so that you're not like, oh, I have to cook this whole situation. It's instant. I'm just going to open this wrapper and here we go. I have my snack. So if you want to be intentional about snacks, you have to have it in your house or have something that's like reasonably prepped, right? Like you would have already had to done the hard-boiled eggs. That way they're ready and you can just snag them. But even hard-boiled eggs, you can buy pre-peeled and everything. So don't let I have to prep it be the boundary or the barrier, I mean. This is a really good point about meals. Does anybody struggle with this one? Like this is a thing for them?
Something we do that kind of like mentally fixes the snack thing for me. We do snack plates, right? So we'll have like hard-boiled eggs or like chunks of chicken or something, some kind of protein. Then like sugar snap peas and some peppers and some cucumbers and, you know, maybe some grapes or something cool. But we put it on a plate. It looks all pretty. And then we snack. You know what I mean? So it like kind of fixes that mental, hey, I feel like eating right now. But it's like you pick and choose and it's colorful and kind of fun. And then I usually feel satisfied after that. And I don't go looking for like BS.
I think it's a really good point about colorful and putting it on a plate. That always can be helpful in helping you feel satisfied. Like we eat with our eyes and our nose and all of it. It's a piece of like how you feel satisfied about food. And so even if you're going to have a handful of snap peas, some carrot sticks, like a single serving of dip or something, put it on a plate and I bet it feels different.
I really struggle with snacks on the go. What I do and where I work does not lend itself to easy access to refrigerators and plates and times to make it look pretty. It's like the best kind of snacks are shelf stable that I can like shove in a pocket or like tuck in a corner somewhere that like Jaco won't see and like write me up. And I think that's become a barrier for me.
Is I one thing I'll say is sometimes you just got to do the best you can. And so there are going to be times where like that more packaged snack is the best you can. And I totally think that that's okay. Can you take a small refrigerated, like tiny, like soft lunchbox or something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just like like if you're going to eat something that needs to be cold, I don't want it to be lukewarm. I want it to be really cold. I'm a bit of a pain about that because if I'm going to eat something, I really want to enjoy it. And obviously like bringing it with you makes it easier because then you have it, but having access to anything that is enough space to keep it cool just does not lend itself well to putting it near you ever.
So one thing that you can do, and this is kind of what Angie's saying, is you may think about beefing up your mealtime so that it holds you a little longer. So making your lunch a little larger, even can be really helpful because then you're extra satisfied, especially if you can add volume to your meal. So if they do give you like designated lunchtime, that's like, I could bring something and it's like, I can do it then. Adding like even like a small salad to whatever else you have can add volume to your stomach. It slows your digestive process down because of the fiber. That's a solid thing for you when you're trying to extend you know, how long does your food last as far as satiating? Cindy, do you have like a 12-hour shift, or is it?
It changes quite often. Like tomorrow, like for the next 2 days, I go in at 7:30 and leave at midnight. So 7:30 a.m. Sorry, 7:30 a.m. to midnight, 2 days in a row.
So beefing up meals could help, but it does sound like you need some snacks to tide the time. So
It's tricky.
there are some excellent coolers. Like I will not eat a lukewarm string cheese. It is not acceptable to me. And so, but like if you look, there might be some like way better lunch boxes than in the past that really can keep things cold. And it might be worth it to see, because if you could have a couple little things like that, maybe like a single serving yogurt, like a Greek yogurt or string cheese, or just something that like a little turkey wrap, something that's super fast that you could do, but it's cold. Does anybody else have any ideas? I know like also smelling of food can be a problem depending on where you work. So like I was getting ready to say tuna, and then like if you're already hiding your snacks, you're not going to be pulling out a tuna packet. Protein bars. So that's a good question. And I think it's relevant to, you know, what Cindy's asking. I don't know who posted that, but protein bars can be a good snack. They can also be a crutch that keeps us from learning how to make good snacks and from eating good meals. So if you are like, this is all I got, protein bar, I think that's a solid choice. Like, especially for travel, if whatever, like again, Cindy, if you're like 12 hours and the only thing you can have is something that's in your pocket, might not be the worst choice. If you're sitting in your house and you skipped breakfast and you're like, I'm just gonna have a protein bar, and then like your lunch is meh, and then you're like, I'll just have another protein bar, you're using it as a crutch and it's not helping you. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I think about protein bars. Does anybody have any ideas for Cindy? Like not stinky snacks that maybe don't need to be refrigerated?
What about like almonds? You know, a little handful of almonds in a snack size zippy in your pocket. That might be good. I don't know.
Single serving nuts are a good snack. Those are one, you know how like you pay more when things are already pre-portioned for you, you know, nuts are one that I say, go ahead and pay more, because it's just so easy to eat all of the nuts. So having them already ready, you just grab it and go. So nuts is a great one. Can you do fruit, Cindy?
Yeah. So obviously I can't put it in my pocket, but like the stuff that I've purchased for like this week is apples work really well for me. And they they last a while, but I always have an apple with a piece of cheese. And like the cheese is small and it can like it stays cold in the cooler. It's fine. It's just like getting to the apple is the thing, but yeah, I have that, and I have some berries which are also easy and stay cold.
Do you like hard-boiled eggs?
I like them in egg salad. By themselves, they make me nauseated.
Okay.
I have to mix it with something, but yeah.
Well,
and they smell.
They do. So the funny thing about eggs is if you pre-peel them, they're super stinky. If you leave them in their shell, they don't smell. It's something I learned from traveling with eggs. But they still do have a kind of a smell, but they're really stinky if you pre-peel them. Yeah. Cindy, I would definitely say you should pop into that Marco Polo group, the one for 7 days, the snack one, because I feel like this will be really helpful with your job situation, is having some snack, like lots of different options.
They also have like those nut butter packets. Like if you're going to have an apple, like if you already have it cut and you put like a little lemon juice on it or something, so it doesn't get like brown and kind of mushy, those single serving nut butter packets. And they have really good ones, like vanilla almond butter is one of them, or like honey peanut butter. And they're pretty solid. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of ingredients in them. And that kind of gives you like the protein and a little bit of fat too. Like that's kind of a solid snack that could be quick and doesn't necessarily have to be refrigerated.
They have those at Target and Walmart, I think. and they're just like about this big.
Our grocery has them.
It's
too.
the Justin's brand, right? It's like the white
They
packet.
have Justin's.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That and the RX, like RX bars, but it's RX butter. And they have those flavors too.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the Think Thin protein bars. They have like peanut butter chocolate and chocolate brownie something or other, and they seemed like pretty balanced for like carbs and protein and all of the things. So I have that as a backup. So
Those are my backup too. Those are the ones that I think taste the best. Those are like backup snack, on the road, didn't pack something, forgot, I like those. What's another one before we wrap this up, because we're at the end of the time, is a lot of people ask, well, what about dried fruit? And dried fruit is great in some ways. It is another one of those like food choices where it is, because it's dried, it's almost like you took the sugar of a whole apple and you made it really small and then you can eat more of it. Or you took like the cranberries that you probably would only eat in a couple because they're sour, and then we dry them down, they add a little tiny bit of sugar to the outside, and now you can crack on like a ton of dried fruit. Mangoes are so delicious, but again, what I'm telling you about dried fruit is because a regular piece of fruit is pre-portioned for you. An apple is an apple, so it's kind of like in its serving size. Whereas like dried fruit is really easy to overdo it. So yes, can it be like a good snack choice? Sure. But I definitely recommend like either checking the label and seeing like how many servings are in here, checking the sugar, the added sugar, because a lot of times they add sugar to fruit, which is silly, but they do, because it makes it extra delicious. So if you are doing packaged fruit, flip that joker over and look at the label. It's one of our basics that we do, in our first 12 weeks with Fitme, is start to talk about flipping over everything that comes in a package and looking at that label, but particularly dried fruit. Sweet. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do before we hang up. I'm going to put this group. So if you are like looking at this on your computer or on your phone, you actually should be able to click right into the chat box. And get into this group. So I'm going to give you guys this right now, and then I will also put it out tomorrow, via like the text reminder. So I'm going to put this in the chat box. If you want to do the 7-day snack group with me, the Marco Polo group, we're going to have tons of good ideas in there. Sweet. I just put it in the chat. Let's take a quick pick and then we are all done. Okay. Oh crap. I gotta wipe off the goo on my phone. That's what I get for storing it in my leggings. All right, guys, turn on your face if you want to. 1, 2, 3. All right, have a fantastic week. We will all talk soon, and have a great snack. Make sure you talk to your coach about your snacks. That's your target for the week. See you later.